Awesome. So, today I learned a bit about the red pill. And it's interesting nonetheless. It's pretty much a response to women. Yeah, it's a response to women. It's another form of the sex wars, as it were. And, well, I guess I'm going to talk about it a little bit. Let's see here. So, people have it in their minds that relationships are all about this soulmate business. I mean, yeah, sounds good, and that would be nice, but I can tell you that it doesn't happen for everyone. I mean, most of us are going to go through our lives and never encounter that. Ask your grandparents. And yeah, you know, they can say, oh, it was her all along. And I get the whole love at first sight thing. I mean, that is kids stuff. I mean, ask a 40-year-old and see if that is ever a thing for them. So, uh, relationships. Everyone has a need. We as human beings need to be part of a group, a community. We need to have others around us. And if you're male, and I'm speaking for the straights, I'm sorry, but that is my experience. If you are male, you seek a female, especially after a certain age. If you are a female, you seek a male at any given age, anything past 13. And I can tell you from the study of male development, guys aren't ready for long-term monogamous commitment until generally after they're 25. Many not even then till 30. It's the rare few who are ready at the beginning. And, you know, guys don't pop out as what you want them to be, what you look for. A lot of guys, most men, have to develop into that. Every knight was a squire before he could become a knight, much less the white knight that comes in to save the day. Most of us are just soldiers, girl. You don't know what reality is at that point. So stuck in romance and narrative. I'm listening to this red pill guy, and he goes, women don't love men for who they are, but for what they are. And from my own experience, I find that women have a narrative, a story that goes in their head. And if the guy doesn't fit the narrative, what she romantically is thinking of, then it's a no-go. It does depend on her tolerance, whatever that may be, but I don't know. So relationships are built upon I'd like to have someone. I want to have someone in my life. And the answer is, who wouldn't? And then you have to go through the process of not just finding others, but of weeding out the good from the bad. The ones you like, the ones you prefer, and the ones that don't quite make the mark. And yeah, you can go through it on a fully emotional basis. Oh, I like her, she's pretty, she makes me feel good when I'm around. But after you give it some time, you'll find that she's using you. She's taking hold, and it doesn't matter how much you give, she just takes, takes, takes. And it's curious at this point, this romanticization, right? Girls go dismissively, all guys are the same. All guys want the same thing. Sex and sex and company, sex and banter, sex and companionship, sex and there's always a second part to it that everyone dismisses, and it's insanity to think otherwise. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. At this point, relationships are about business. It's a deal. Especially for well-to-do guys who, don't realize that girls are just people with a different experience than men. And men are different people with different experiences than women. It's like women demand a specific behavior from a guy. Oh, don't do this. Oh, don't do that. Oh, it's not so hard to keep your dick in your pants. Well, as a girl, when you get horny, your sexuality doesn't make you do things. It doesn't demand of you action. And as a guy, oh, that niggling demand, that ever-craving hunger. And unless you steep yourself in so many distractions, the only way to deal with it is to squeeze a few off. That's not a girl problem, that is a guy problem. And you may be dismissive of it, but then again, it's not your experience. It's not your world. You should not have a say on a guy's world, just as a guy, I should have no say about a woman's body or her world. Feminism is supposed to be about balance, about empowering and leveling the field for both of us. And yet, it is not. It's about so many other things. And it has created this MGTOW, red pill movement. This men going their own way. And it's not wrong. And yes, a man can live without sex. A man can live without women. But every man can agree, with a good, reliable woman, your life is elevated. It is made better, enlightened, more spiritual, if you will. It's like making this sword from just a sword to the sword of. This is the sword of evanescence. My great-grandfather used this sword in the wars of yore, or yonder year, as opposed to, it's a sword. Use it, abuse it, toss it away. Doesn't have terribly much meaning. But now that the sword is, I hope you get it. If you don't get it, go somewhere else. So this red pill movement. It asks that men do what works for men, which is treat women like crap. Because they're just people that will use and abuse you, and I can't say they're wrong. I know too many guys that have been wronged by a woman in their life, destroyed, some of them several times. I guess it's true what they say. The greatest danger to a man today is a woman. And from a girl's perspective, the greatest danger to her is a man. And yet, in male development, I find that what it takes to be a man, the philosophy of being a man, is not like that at all. A boy, a man, is a weapon. We are built for combat, for physicality, to do, quite literally, the heavy lifting. We are engineered to put things in boxes, to build from a foundation, to make pillars, a roof, a house, a legacy. Where women, they move and flow, and things, though defined, are rather blurry in connection. They don't tank point A, point B, point C. They weave, move. They have a much more emboldened emotional experience. They're allowed their emotion. Whereas a man finds kindness to be an expensive luxury. You have to provide boundaries. You have to call people on their stuff, especially a woman. Something about keeping her in line. It is troublesome. I don't want to do it. I want to come home and relax, kick my boots off, be at rest, finally. And yet the moment I come home, I'm beset upon by trials and tribulations from a different world. And there is no rest. There is no peace. There is no reward for having a woman in your life. They don't give you anything anymore. It's all about me. What can you give me? What can you do for me? Or I need. I will never speak for women. But we need someone to advocate for men. And if I have to step up and help be the only one to do so, then I will. At some point in the future, probably when I get a better camera, or a different setup, or a better setup, I'm going to go through different stages of male development. For example, after you turn 25, your prefrontal cortex comes online. Zip! And you're no longer a selfish asshole. You're no longer getting in the fights. You're starting to consider your family. If you have kids at that point, you're starting to think about your kids. You generally get out of crime if you can. And you're, by 30, entering the realm of adults. Also, between ages of 25 and 30, men tend to ramp up their social intelligence because they can learn 3 times faster during that age group than they would otherwise. Fun stuff to know. Male development. It's work. It really is. Because you can grow up as a guy. You can be 50 years old and you can still be a boy. But you haven't been a man. Because moral development is an ongoing process, and if you don't take the time, you have failed. And you have not taken responsibility for your own development. And that is on top of developing yourself. But who am I to say such things? Who am I to suggest that you as a person need to become even better? Or how could I possibly know anything to help the world at large? Well, I say to you naysayers, I do it because I am. Thanks for watching.